Hi, everybody. Welcome to our morning meeting. We're here with Byron this morning. Hi. What do you think, Byron? Hi. Byron is our beautiful barred owl ambassador. He's a male. He is one of two, so we do have a female as well, Fern. Many of you will know. Hi. Byron is a barred owl. Barred owls are one of the more common species of owls that we have around here, but they're so fascinating and beautiful. They are, we're so lucky to have so many of them. They are a wonderful generalist species. They eat a lot of different things. So come on in, let me know that you're here, and we will get started in just a minute. Once we have some visitors, please let me know where you're from. I love hearing about where everyone is from, whether it's in the Seacoast area or from other New England states or across the country. We really enjoy hearing all about where folks are watching from. Is it windy? It's a little bit blustery here, so if you have any issues with audio or anything, just let me know and I'll try to fix it. But welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for watching on this beautiful Veterans Day. We're here with Mr. Byron. Hi. Byron is our male barred owl ambassador. I know. Yeah, you're okay. Hi. And he's been with us for about 14 years now. He is he's not very old, but he's up there. He's most likely about 14, 15 years old. He did come into us as an adult, so it's always hard for us to really guess, but he's very, very sweet, very loving. Hello, good morning, Elise. Hello. Oh, Tiffany, yes, thank you so much for doing that. That is so, so sweet. Tiffany has done a fundraiser on Facebook for her birthday for us. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Good morning from Connecticut. Hello. Of course, we understand, the travel restrictions have limited people from Connecticut coming into Maine, but thank you so much for trying to join us at Maine Beer. We love Maine Beer. They are fantastic, wonderful supporters of ours, and we're so grateful for their partnership. So hopefully we will continue to do these events with them. Our owl prowls with them are very popular, so we will continue to do those as long as we possibly can. So no worries, you can definitely come to the next one. At least you're in Edgecombe, that's wonderful. So good morning, everybody. Happy Veterans Day. I know I have some family watching, so that's awesome. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Elaine. I know good morning, Chuck. They all look at us when we're talking because we're like the closest thing to them, and they usually will keep their eye on us. So sometimes it does look like affection. I'm not so sure if it is, but we can dream. We can think that it is. He's very sweet. He does enjoy and kind of relax with his handlers. So he's very sweet to his people. Hi, hello, Will and Kate. Good morning. Will Robinson. Good morning. Hi, everybody. Byron here has, like I said, been with us for a while. He has been with us for almost 14 years now. And what's cool about having a bird for that long is you really get to know their personalities. So we know that with Byron, when we move him or when we move while he's on the glove, he does tend to get a little antsy. But otherwise, he is a trooper and loves people. He's great with kids. He goes on lots of programs with us to many different schools. We have just a ton of really young kids that absolutely adore Byron. So he's been with us for a while, and he's definitely a pro. Good morning, Kim. Hello. Byron, you might notice, also looks a little bit tired. This is because he is a nocturnal animal, so owls are nocturnal. They're awake at night, and then they usually rest or sleep during the day. And he's in that mode right now. Good morning, Will. Thank you so much for donating. That is so, so sweet. Will has donated on the video. There's a little button if you guys would like to donate. Thank you so much for doing that. It's really amazing. All of the support from our videos and our Facebook page goes directly back to the care of our wonderful ambassadors. And if you'd like to give even more directly than with money, we have a Facebook link to our Amazon wish list for the new reptile tanks that we're building. We're so exciting. They're going to be delivered this weekend, and we can't wait for our reptiles to move over to the new facility. It's right behind me, and go into their beautiful new tanks. So check out that wish list. There's things on there for as little as $2. And we're so pleased that we're going to be able to give them the space that they deserve. So looking forward to it. Hi, buddy. But thank you, Will, so much for donating. Byron has a girlfriend, a female that he lives with. We call them a mated pair, although they have never really bred in captivity for us. They don't have babies together. But they do spend most of their time together. They do really love each other, or act like they do. They also will, call for one another when the other one is gone. So when Fern leaves the enclosure, Byron will often call for her to come back, which is kind of sweet. And they do, they preen each other. They interact with each other quite a bit. So these guys are a mated pair, a bonded pair, and we love providing that for especially our raptor ambassadors who would normally live in pairs in the wild for most of the year. They would live with their mates while they had their babies, while they were raising their babies. They would only really be alone for the winter season. So these guys are very dependent and love having another friend around. For your nocturnal ambassadors and patients, do they have a different feeding time than the diurnal ones? Yes, they do, Tiffany. That's a great question. So our diurnal birds are birds that are awake during the day, or animals, all animals that are awake during the day, we will feed in the early morning. And especially for birds like songbirds, small birds, it's actually important to get to them first thing in the morning because they burn fuel really quickly. So we always try to make sure that we give our, our songbirds their breakfast first, and then our raptors, and then our mammals, and then our reptiles, in that order, because that's the order that they need the energy in. The birds are going to be using their energy really quickly, and then the mammals a little bit less quickly. They might have some fat reserves to fall back on. A lot of our birds do as well, but especially the really tiny ones usually don't. And then our reptiles can really wait until noontime to eat. So we do have a different feeding schedule, and then we feed our nocturnal animals at night. So we feed them around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because that's when they start acting hungry. That's when they start waking up. We also, space things out throughout the day so that we always have something to work on, and we don't want to leave food out there all day for it to get gross and then have them not eat it until the nighttime. And for owls like Leo or Lucy, many of them will wait until it's like midnight to eat. They'll wait until it's really dark and late out before they come out and eat. So definitely switching up the times is something that we do for them. Thank you so much for donating, Dad. Always. You're so sweet. Thank you. He's a veteran, so he gets to watch today on his day off. Nice. Good morning, Naomi. Good morning, Chuck. What is the life expectancy of barred owls? Chuck asks. So in the wild, they usually will live into their teens. If they make it past the first year of life, they have a really good chance of making it to about 15 to 18 years old in the wild. And then in captivity, they can live a lot longer than that. So into their 20s is pretty normal in captivity. And we had a barred owl with us, Bianca, who passed away a few years ago at the age of 23. And then there was a barred owl actually named Byron as well up at Chewonki, up in Damariscotta, Maine, that lived to be 27. So they can live a long time in captivity, much longer than they would in the wild. They don't have to worry about not having enough food or predators or disease or anything like that. So very extended lifespans in captivity. So at least that answered your question too. Hello, Sue. Hello, good morning. Hello, Brenda from Portland, Oregon. That's so cool, all the way across the country. It's early there. You're up early. Kara, good morning. Did it take a while to convert your birds to frozen and thawed mice? No, not really. Most of them pick up on it pretty early. They get it pretty quickly. And if that is ever something that we're struggling with, we usually will like warm up the mouse, but honestly, the birds usually don't have an issue with it. And that's because the birds really don't smell very well. And so the scent is usually not an issue. Sometimes with reptiles, the mouse being dead alters its scent and then they don't want to eat it. So Kara, I think you might be the one that's recommended chicken broth a couple times for Zipper. So yeah, the scent is something that doesn't really come into play. The movement sometimes can. So sometimes a prey animal not moving can be an issue, but over time, they usually, pick up on it, and they get hungry and they eat what's available. Barred owls are not picky eaters. They're not known to be picky eaters. They're pretty good generalists. They'll eat pretty much anything. So a lot of them will scavenge sometimes. They figure out that a mouse that's dead or freshly dead is okay pretty easily. All of our ambassadors, eat dead mice, and the only one that really has any particular things when it comes to mice is Leo. And I don't know why this is, if he's just because he was in the wild for longer or something, but he will only eat brown mice. He won't eat white mice. And that's, pretty normal. They would only eat brown mice in the wild. They wouldn't really ever encounter those albino mice the way that we have them in like our lab settings. So he seems to only like the brown mice. But we can accommodate him. Brenda says she gets up early and goes to bed early. Yeah, I've definitely switched. As an adult, that's more my schedule, and Byron is the opposite. Oh, thank you so much, Brenda. You're so sweet. Yeah, so Byron here is usually resting during the day. When we talk about nocturnal animals, people tend to use absolutes a lot. They say like they're asleep during the day and they're awake at night. And that is, for the most part, true. But sleep for wild animals is usually a very different thing than sleep for us. So we are very lucky that we get to sleep 8 hours a day in a nice dark room in a quiet house. And that allows us to really go into deep sleep where we're completely unaware of what's going on around us. And that is something that most wild animals will not do. And they do that because they need to be able to survive. They need to be able to keep an eye on what's going on around them. So when we say that owls sleep during the day, they really are more resting or like cat napping. They're still aware of their surroundings. They know what's going on. And it's very unlikely that they would really go into a deep sleep unless they're very young. So usually we say resting. You'll see them a lot like sitting in the sun, soaking up the sun, just kind of cat napping. They like to do that. Do they sing to other owls in the wild, asked Elise. So these guys don't have a song. They have a call. Calls and songs are different. They're used for like two different purposes. So songbirds make songs to like to mark their territory and be a part of the community, and these guys will use their calls that way kind of, but they're not a different sound. So so these guys have a call that sounds like somebody saying, who cooks for you, who cooks for you all, and it goes like this. They go and we hear a lot of that here. They do talk to each other quite a bit. Byron will call all the time. We get wild owls into the center or around the center that call to him. So they do call using that sound to each other. It's a contact call, so it's either their way of marking their territory or their way of communicating with each other. So they don't have like two different sounds for that. They do sometimes just do like a little mini version of the call where they just go, and that will be their like touch base if the other owl's close by. And then they also sometimes fight with each other in with their calls and do something called caterwauling, which sounds like monkeys. And that is, that's just a totally different thing. But they they do make a lot of noise. They sing to each other a lot. Yep. Kara understands the certain color of rat. He is very focused on He is very focused on just what's, what's closest to him. As he calms down, as he gets used to where he is and he gets sick of, necessarily hearing my voice, he'll turn his head around. But thank you so much for donating, Kara. That is so sweet. You're so sweet. Thank you. Um, Good morning. Dad asks, Dad, you spelled barred owl wrong. Barred owl is Barred, and it's not like Shakespeare the Bard. It's like bars and feathers. Um, and they do eat carrion in the wild. Absolutely. Yeah. Good morning. They'll eat a little less frequently than like a red-tailed hawk, but they will if they're desperate, and they certainly don't mind eating dead animals in captivity. Um, yeah, he does have beautiful eyes, and I know he's not really pointing them at you guys right now, but they're one of the few owl species that have these dark chocolate brown eyes. And they're one of the few true owls that really have that. It's funny the way that they break up owls into families. There's the barn owls, barn, Barn, and everybody else. So they call all the other owls true owls, and then they take out barn owls for some reason. Does he grow more down as winter approaches? Asked Dad. Yeah, so he will molt a ton of his down during the spring and summer, and then he'll slowly kind of grow it back throughout the summer, and he's getting more fluffy right now. They'll also put on more fat this time of year, so their metabolism will like start slowing down, and they'll put on more fat to store for the winter. I know, Renda. He's so sweet. You'd think he'd get bored of the sound of my voice, but thank you so much, Kelly, for donating. That is so sweet. We really appreciate all of the donations. You guys are really amazing. We love being able to provide this content for everyone, and especially now when we're, uncertain of where we're going to be, or how we're going to be able to contact or communicate with you guys. This is our favorite way of reaching out to everyone, and we are so happy to be able to bring you guys this every single day. And we're going to continue doing it. It's not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. Do you do anything for enrichment to make up for them not hunting for food? Absolutely, Kara. So in the wild, these guys would spend hours of their time hunting for food, and it would take them most of the night to find enough food, especially if they're a male who's hunting for its entire family. So we have to make up for all that time spent not doing that, because he gets food served to him. And the way that we do that is by, supplementing his diet with enrichment items. So we will give him fish and frogs in a little water dish. Those are some of his favorite things to eat. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. He's like, you poked me. Those are some of his favorite things to eat, because he would normally be eating frogs in the wild, and they really love pouncing on fish, pouncing on frogs, grabbing them, playing with them. It's not very nice for the frog, but thank you so much, Brenda. You're so sweet for donating. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. So we absolutely will supplement their food to make up for that. So we do give him some live fish, some live frogs. Crickets are another one that we give to some of the smaller owls. And then we also like to supplement their diet with other species of birds, because they would actually eat birds in the wild. They would eat other species of owls, smaller species. So we like to give them chicks or quail as part of their diet. And then we also change up the scenery in their enclosure, trying to make it look nice, and try to take them on as many walks as we can, so they're getting out of their enclosure. They're experiencing different things. So like after we're done here, I'll take Byron on a little walk around, and he'll get to experience, all the different views. The other thing that you can do with barred owls to kind of enrich them is give them toys. Our barred owls are not super big fans of toys. We've tried. We've tried a lot with toys in our barred owls, and sometimes they do. If there's food in them, they will play with them to get the food, but sometimes they don't. They like to rip things up and tear at them the way that they would tear at their food, but they're not so big on the toys. They're not like Violet, who will totally wreck any toy that you give her. She's really fun. These guys, not so much. We've done some sisal balls before with them, and they Unless there's food in it, they don't seem to enjoy it. So it's tricky. It's tricky. um, can barred owls easily change their focus? Do they see as well close as far away? So that's actually a really good question, Dad. These guys actually don't have as good a depth perception as other birds do. So they're not able to do that thing that hawks can do, where they can be soaring up a mile in the sky and seeing something all the way on the ground and, you know, zoom in on it to catch it. They can't really do that. And that's why when you see an owl focusing on something, they're doing a lot of this. They're doing a lot of moving around like this. That's them trying to like establish depth on the object that they're seeing. They're trying to figure out how far away it is. And a big part of why they don't have very good depth perception is because their eyes are like fixed in place, and they have this like blind spot right in the middle of their face. So they really have a hard time judging depth close up. And young birds, when they're very small, the muscles that do control the depth that they have aren't really well developed in their eyes. And so you'll see young baby owls doing this a lot, moving their heads around a lot, and then they'll kind of slow down on that as they get older and as their muscles get well developed. But it's still never going to be like perfect. It's still never going to be as good as like a hawk or a falcon's. And it's not as far distance as those owls. So that's a really good question. Good morning to Diana in North Berwick. Hello. Elise asks, how do they compare in size to other owls? That's a really good question. So they're kind of a medium-sized owl. They're bigger than a screech or a long-eared owl, or, you know, they're kind of around the same size as a barn owl. Barn owls tend to be like taller and skinnier, but about the same size. They're smaller than a great horned owl, so like Gaia, for example, would come up to like here if I was holding her. So they're like half the size of a great horn. They're probably, how big are you? So he's 600 grams. He's a couple pounds. He's not too heavy, but he has a lot of fluff. So, aw, thank you guys so much. I know everyone loves Byron and Fern. Do they play with any toy items? Yeah, Brenda. So some of the animals will, definitely. Violet loves her toys. Bertram loves his toys. But the raptors, like like Byron, we've tried all sorts of different toys with him. And unless there's food involved or an animal item involved, they're not too interested. So we will give them like live prey enrichment, which is something that they love. But the toys are not super successful with them. They just don't have that. These guys don't typically like rip up their food as much as other animals. They tend to like swallow their food whole a lot. So there's not as much instinct to really like get in there and rip something apart. They're not going to bat something around. They're going to pretty quickly kill it. So it's not like cats, you know. They're not like playing with little mouse toys. Does he allow you to pet him? Asked Lori. Yes, he does. He is very comfortable with his handlers. He does love, you know, head scratches, or another way that we are able to establish that he's in good health is by feeling his body and making sure that he doesn't have either too much or too little fat anywhere on his body. So he does allow us to touch him, and that's a part of caring for him, is making sure that we are able to get hands on him and feel how his body is doing. We also have to be able to look at his ears, look at his eyes, look at his feet. He's very patient. So, you know, so we are able to touch him. We don't usually let other people touch him because he also doesn't really love it. You know, he tolerates it, but the only thing he really likes is like a head scratch. And Fern can do that for him too. So